We are change. That's the theme of tonight's sessions. And I'd like you to think about what technology might look like in 25 years, and even more, how we make sure that technology contributes to the good of society, in the interest of society. And for this, I'd like to bring you back 25 years ago. 25 years ago, the governor of California, Gray Davis, created 4 institutes with a simple mission: to create technology in the interest of society. This building where you're sitting tonight, this is a picture of when it was open. You can see the governor on the left with the pink tie. And while this idea today might seem something usual, I'd like you to think about what it meant 25 years ago. So for the students in the school, 25 years ago, you were not born, and you might have to imagine this. And for the parents, maybe you would remember. This is what a phone used to look like. If you grab in your pocket right now, you'll see a lot more functionalities. This is a very famous company that was created a few years back, 25 years ago, where you could buy things. And if you can navigate that site today with your knowledge, good luck. There was a young startup that was creating an index of the web, and that's what it used to look like. There was no YouTube, there was this. And I guess for the kids, you're probably wondering, why is that screen not flat? And this is the social networks. That's the Berkeley Bowl right across from the school, because to interact with your friends, well, that's where you go. So think about creating this institute 25 years ago, and think about technology and technology walking us from 25 years ago to today. I'd like to take you through that journey through a few examples to make you reflect on today's world. I love this example because it shows that within 2 years with that object, and by the way, for the kids, that's a phone. It has buttons, even though it's changed a lot. Within 2 years, the fact that every device of this kind has a GPS provided traffic information for free for everybody all the time in a couple of years. This example is very interesting. Back in the days when this institute was created, if you put an accelerometer on someone's shoe, think to that phone, which is the first iPhone, iPhone 1, you could actually monitor the way they walk, record data, and find that that person might have Parkinson's disease before even doctors could see it. This one is one I really like. It's called the cell scope. That's what you built when you take a microscope and you glue it on a cell phone with a camera. You can see this is still a very old cell phone. But if you're in the middle of Africa and you take 1 drop of your own blood and take a picture, any hospital in the world can tell you whether you have malaria or any kind of other disease. And one of the reasons why these changes led to today's world with phones that are even more powerful and computers that are faster and faster is because inside are chips that are smaller and smaller, consume less and less power, and are faster. And when you walked in the building today, you probably saw people suited like this in the north wing of the building. And what they're doing is they're doing research on semiconductor and plasmas so that device can do more and more. Once upon a time in this building, there used to be a professor known for having the smallest transistor in the world. You probably have taken too many Zoom meetings, especially during COVID. But think about California 15 years ago. For senior citizens, driving to the nearest doctor would take 250 miles because you need to see a specialist. And, well, the nearest hospital is very far from where you live. So the California Telehealth Network, invented here at Berkeley, enabled people to do what was called video conferencing over a tablet at a time when medicine was not available in rural California. And getting more into the physical world. I'm sure that all the kids here do their own laundry and that they also fold it. But if you're a robot and you're trying to do this just from video cameras, it's actually not that easy. Well, on the 7th floor of this building was the very first folding robot invented so that basic tasks that maybe should not be done by humans in factories or elsewhere could be done faster and easier. And since we're in the physical world, when we're finished with the events tonight, I hope you go in the museum, you will see this hand, this prosthetic hand, which was one of the first mechanical engineering designs so that people with impairment and children with impairment could grasp in ways that they could otherwise not do. And of course, in today's robotics, this is now something common that any humanoid that you will buy in a store that will do anything has already, because grasping is not a solved problem, but is a much more advanced problem. I love these because these are what we're working on now and what are really solving tomorrow's challenges. This project is called the Solar Canal Project. And it's a simple idea is that if you put solar panels over a canal First, you produce green energy, but also you really help with water evaporation, so you save water, which is a very scarce resource, especially in California. And this one is one of my favorite ones because many of you walk to school, many of you drive to school or are driven to school. But if you lived in San Jose or in Fremont, well, maybe it would not be sustainable to go to school where you go to school every morning because it's too far. But in a green future of electric and automated aviation, maybe you can come to EB, buy this new helicopter in a sustainable manner and make it possible to have an education that you could otherwise not have by proximity of geography. And it all looks amazing, but now I have this example and you probably, well, what is that? That looks a little creepy. Well, that's actually a living insect, inside of which you actually put a chip that directly connects with the insect so you can fly it remotely while it's alive. Okay, so now that really sounds creepy. And now you should really wonder, well, is that really good for society or not? And the answer is not that clear because this could advance a lot of the knowledge in neurology to understand how the human body works and many other biological systems work. But you can also see problems with the ethics of that, or at least this is not an obvious problem. And you could also see how this could be used for very bad purposes. And so that raises a simple question, is when you develop new technology, you as children and later in your adult life will probably ask yourself the question is, how do we make it in the interest of society? And that's why policies are here to guide, so that whatever you invent in the lab, in this building, in the world, is used for the benefit of society. But what does it mean good for society? That means that whatever society you live in has a set of values, and what you develop is in compliance with these values. And so tomorrow, when you go back to school, you might go in the makerspace of the school and you might build things. So the policy is that, well, you should not build something dangerous and bring it to the playground or the classroom and make it explode, because that's not compliant to policy. But what does it mean good? You're building something good for school because it is in compliance with or in alignment with the values of the school: compassion, courage, curiosity, and community, the values of the school. And so what I want you to think about tomorrow when you go to the makerspace is, what are you going to do? What are you going to invent as a new technology to help society? Thank you.